Hello, this is Kwok again for the Assistant Editor of the European Journal of Adapted Physical Activity, EUJAPA. So in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to convert a prepared manuscript in the format of the publication manual of American Psychology Association version 6 and how to convert that into the template that we have prepared for and requested that authors use prior to submission. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to use an example from a manuscript which was accepted in APAC, and it's this manuscript, well this paper, which was a brief note. So this tutorial should be a bit shorter because there were less words and fewer pages to transfer over. And as you can see, with APAC, the format is in single column, and the typeset is Times Roman numeral, and it's single spaced, and tables are there were large tables included in this brief note, so they were rotated. So this is what I'll be using. I was asked to submit a cover page, and I was asked to submit the tables, and I was asked to submit another table and the whole manuscript in APA format, and I was asked to submit them separately. With this new template, we ask you to submit everything as one document. So that's what we're going to be doing in this tutorial. I'm going to be showing you some of the text to convert over using the template. First, before we do that, I'll just demonstrate to you how to use the template. First of all, you will have the possibility to see the navigation pane, and that used to be called something else in version 2007 and before, but if you click on the view and the third box, you'll see the possibility of how to navigate yourself through the document. In addition to that, if you click on the Home tab and you click on the styles in the bottom right hand corner here, you'll see the possibility of seeing the different styles. Now they're all listed EUJAPA, so if you broaden it out a little bit more, you can see what each one represents. So for example, under title, we're under 1.2, under abstract, we have abstract 1.7, and so on and so forth. So we have the heading, and then we have the text. So you won't be needing the majority of these styles, but they're there just to be put in for the document. Now that you know how to navigate through this document, I will do some quick changes to the old formats that had been submitted through the APA styling. So here's the manuscript. If I just reduce the size of it, this was the title, this was the cover page. Under request from APAC, we had to put the title, the author's names and affiliations, and the corresponding author. So here we have, I'm going to close down the navigation so we can broaden this out. You see the title, I'm going to just copy, so copy and highlight over this section and click paste. So that will be paste, keep text only, or just use keep paste only and return. And then the authors, I'm going to just put the first author, copy. I'm now going to use the shortcut key Control-C on the keyboard, so you're not able to see it right now, but I'm going to just copy over here and Control-V on the keyboard, so you see the author's name there. And the same for the second author, and the third author. Because we have more than 3 authors, I'm going to put another comma here, comma, put number 3, 4, space, comma, delete, 4, comma, Marianne, there we are, 5, comma, Pauli, and then this is number 1, comma, and Joe as the last author, and she will be number 6. The corresponding author was the first author, so we're going to put the star up there and take it away from there. So that's the authors, and then the affiliations. If we copy, because there's 3 authors from the same affiliation, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write down each email address after the same affiliation. And the last one is Pauli, which is not copied, so I would write it down, pauli.rintala@jyu.fi, and the same also for then all the other affiliations. I need to write number 3. So when you add new affiliations, you write the number and then you use the tab button. So I'm going to demonstrate to you what it looks like. You see these arrows represent the tab, so I need to put a tab there before putting in the next author. Please do not use spaces because that affects the styling, so we have to use the tab format. So if you use a space, we see a dot. I don't know how well you can see that, but there'll be a dot. Now, a dot is not correct. We like to use a tab, and then we will use the 4, number 5 tab. Well, I don't remember how many authors there are, but it looks like there is only 5. Okay, and then slowly increase create the superscript. So highlight these numbers to superscript them, and the same for these authors here. Maybe we can find out where I've gone wrong. Yes. He's number 1 is JYU. There's 2, 3, Marianne's 4, and we superscript this. Pauli is 1, 2, superscript, and Joe, which is 5. And that's where we have the 5 different affiliations. And then the correspondence, I don't have a telephone number, so we will just use this here. Now the date it was received, I can show the folder. Is it this one? Yeah. So it was submitted on the 6th of April. So this is the date that you put here prior to submission. And then once you get accepted, we will put in these dates in here. Okay, so that's the cover page, and that's the cover here. During the blind review process, we will remove this section so the reviewers do not get to see what takes place between lines 4 to 13. So please don't worry about that, but do include this while you submit your manuscript. Now I'm going to transfer the rest of the document, which would have been what's the main text version. So I had this previously formatted anyway with the correct subheaders, but as you can see, the abstract is is under the same format, and I'm going to widen this a little bit and make this smaller. Okay, so we copy and paste it. I copied the abstract and then I'm going to paste it, and here we have the entire abstract. I'm going to get rid of these show hide. And now, after you've read this how to use template, which I'm going to remove, I'm going to start with the introduction. Oh, we need the keywords. Keywords were just here. Copy and paste, and okay. So here we should have this under keywords. Okay. And now we're looking at the introduction. So I'm going to copy all of the introduction. Copy, and I'm going to highlight the whole introduction paragraph and press Ctrl+V. Now what has happened is, under my settings, is that it will record, it will paste it in the format that was last saved. Now because the heading was the last section of the text, it assumes the next one will be the same. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to change each one to text. So choose EUJAPA 3.1 text. Let me enlarge this a little bit more, and you'll see the different versions. I'm just going to click on text. I don't need to do anything else than just to click on text. Okay, so that means I don't need to adjust the bold, I don't need to adjust the centering, I don't need to adjust the font size. I just click on text, and that's the introduction done. Then the method, I'm going to copy all of the method down to the first subheading, and I'm going to overwrite the rest of the text there. And again, what happens is that it goes back to the heading 1. So I highlight, well, not necessarily even highlight, but just put my mouse anywhere in this paragraph and click text and repeat for the same. I then have these subheadings areas, so I'll go to the first one just to make sure we are there. I'm going to press return and click. And what we see here is that we have the heading 2 there, and I'll show you why that's important. Is because if you look at the navigation pane, then you see it appearing there. Previously it would not be there. So I will show you again with the next section here, physical activity measures being another subheading, and I'll cover all of it. Okay, so we paste, Ctrl+V, paste, and we do not see anything in this navigation pane. But once I click on physical activity measures and click on heading 2, we see it appearing there. Similarly for statistics is a subheading, so we also see that there. Okay, now we're in the results section, and I'm going to copy all of the text, and in the results section there are various styling formats which you can see of how the subsections and levels look like and appear, and what if you use bullet points or number lists or tables and figures, how they should all appear. So I'm going, and as well if you have any mathematical components. So I'm going to highlight under all of this and click Ctrl+V for pasting, and again we have the different headings. So this was a subheading, and the next section was the text, and then the next section was a subheading, the next section was the text, and the last section was the text. Okay, so now we have this issue with regards to tables, and I'm just going to remove this line here. Okay, so we have everything is in alignment so far. Okay, so here we're starting to see in the text the need to include a table. Table 1. This is table 2. Table 1 is table 1 is there. Now what we're going to do for this is it depends on how your page has been formatted, and depending on how it's been formatted would depend very much on where you put your page break. Now because of this text is now going over to the new page and you create a page break, then there's wasted space throughout this this document. So what we have to do is wait for the next page as such. And so we'll go straight to the discussion first, copy the whole discussion. So I'm going to press my Shift button and highlight the whole text, Control C to copy, and then highlight this text, Control V to paste, and make sure all the necessary sections are text. And now I'm looking for an opportunity for a break. So here is one possible break. I'm going to begin towards the end of this page here and click Insert, and I'm going to now open this up to click on Page Break. I need to press this 2 times because I go back to the last line, double click it, and then I need to go to Page Format and change it to Landscape because I have a large table. I'm going to select the text, not to the whole document, only to select text, and click OK. So only this page is in a landscape view. I then go to my table 1, which is this table here, and as you can see it's quite a large table. I'm going to highlight all of the text, and this can be done by pressing Control A, copy, Control C, and go back to the page there and Control V, which is Control Paste. Okay, now we've got to reformat it, and I'm going to look under my styles for table. So table is under section 4, so this will be the first one is table caption, and then I need to highlight the whole table. So Word allows you to highlight the whole table by clicking on the plus button, so it clicks the whole of the table, and I'm going to click on table body. And then there are some footers, which I'll highlight under here, and table footers are going to be clicked as well. And I'm going to remove the extra lines. So we begin straight away, immediately after the table. There were no perspectives there. This had no perspectives from APAC. And we also need to have one more table because there needs to be a table 2, and there's no more space at the end of this manuscript, so I have to just go back to here one more time. I go to Insert Page Break, and that's already set there in the landscape format. So now go to table 2, and this is even larger table. Again, select all the text, copy it, and insert it. And once it's inserted, you need to create the right format. So the table caption is there, and highlight the entire table. So that includes the footnotes in this case, and put the table body. Now I've got a funny looking column here, so I'm just going to widen it so it doesn't look as funny as the other ones. And with the captions, I'm going to make sure it's looking correct now, and remove these extra lines. So now we have two tables inside and embedded in the text. Preferably it would appear immediately after the results, or as close to the term table 2, but because of these being large tables, they are included after or in the middle of the discussion. And there would be some white space, but we are not going to do anything about that. So the last final and very final part of this is to or there's two more final parts, but one of them is to do references. So from the original manuscript is to copy the references. So we're going to copy all of this and put the references in here. And you can see they're already put in the star for references. Remove the extra lines. There were no appendices. In this case, there are no conflicts of interest. So we have authors declare no conflict of interest, and we do not use any acknowledgements here, and there's not been any funding for this, and we will remove the author contribution section because it wasn't requested from APAC, and there were no supplementary materials. So now we can save this document, and now this document is ready to be submitted to EUJAPA. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us at eujapa.journal@gmail.com. Thank you for following this tutorial.